It is a quiet morning. You are walking through your yard, or maybe just checking the potted plants on your balcony. You inspect the leaves. You check the soil. You notice that one of your favorite plants is not looking right. The edges of the leaves are curling inward. They look a little yellow, slightly sticky, and weak. You reach out, gently pinch the edge of the leaf, and turn it over. And there it is, a nightmare in miniature. Clinging to the underside of the leaf is a strange, dark, crawling thing. It is jagged and segmented. It is covered in fleshy black spikes, lined with aggressive, bright orange spots along its sides. It looks like a microscopic alligator, or a monster pulled straight out of a science fiction movie. It is slowly dragging its heavily armored body across the green surface of your plant. Your instinct kicks in instantly. Your thumb and index finger form a pincer. You bring your hand close to the leaf. You are going to crush it. You are going to wipe it off with a tissue. Or maybe you are going to step back, walk into the garage, and grab a heavy-duty chemical spray bottle. Stop. Before you press down, pause. Put the spray bottle away. Take your hand off the leaf and just breathe for a second. Because what you are looking at is not the enemy. In fact, if you kill it, you are signing a death warrant for your own plant. We are visually wired to judge insects by their covers. In nature, spikes usually mean danger. Dark, jagged silhouettes usually mean disease. A crawling, spiny creature looks exactly like the kind of pest that strips leaves to the vein, ruins a garden, and brings an infestation into your home. You see it, and your brain screams that this thing does not belong here. And honestly, that reaction makes sense. You spent weeks, maybe months, watering, pruning, and caring for this soil. You are protecting your territory. When something ugly shows up on your hard work, you want it gone. But the real threat is already there, hiding in plain sight. And the monster you are about to crush is the only thing standing in its way. Look closely at the rest of that curled leaf. Right next to that spiky black crawler, you will see a cluster of tiny, soft-bodied green or black specks glued to the stems. They look entirely harmless. They barely move. Those are aphids, and they are the true destroyers of your garden. Aphids are botanical vampires. They insert microscopic, needle-like mouths directly into the veins of your plant and drain the sap, which is the absolute lifeblood of the leaves. And they do not work alone. They are clones. A single female aphid can produce dozens of offspring without mating, and those offspring are born already pregnant. They multiply by the thousands in a matter of days. As they feed, they secrete a sticky, sugary liquid called honeydew that coats your leaves, suffocates the plant, and breeds a thick, black fungus known as sooty mold. They are the exact reason your plant is curling, failing, and dying. But here is the part almost nobody realizes. Now look back at the spiky, ugly, black and orange monster you almost killed. That is not a pest. That is a hunter. Specifically, it is the larval stage of an insect you probably love more than any other bug in the world. That little alligator is a baby ladybug. Yes, the cute, round, bright red, polka-dotted beetle that symbolizes good luck and healthy garden starts its life looking like a gothic predator. The transition from this dark, jagged crawler to a beautiful red beetle is hard to wrap your mind around. But there is a very specific, ruthless reason why it looks and acts this way. And this is where the story becomes uncomfortable, yet absolutely fascinating. Adult ladybugs are great, but the larva is a brutal, hyper-focused killing machine. The mother ladybug did not build a cozy nest. She deliberately laid her yellow eggs exactly where you found this creature, right in the middle of a massive aphid colony. She dropped her offspring directly onto a living buffet. When this larva hatches, it is blind. It has no wings. It cannot fly away. It is locked on that leaf with one mission. It has 6 legs, a pair of sharp, curved mandibles, and a ravenous appetite. It does not eat a single millimeter of plant tissue. It eats meat. Reconspurcaçante, ilher uma corda que tasmizilinas fontela. Mas são dulo laniros, taginuval mai praliro na meso cheias. Depois que sente das tengaram pé per chesa chelo, sezen e quincheso krakots varvlited. Okabakir, iskau and porchi from Perry. Ileror mes bem od vaio ilena quascaron. So swolten reporters, he fair pegavoturis that se speed peshapiler, es fair to quarti shazan. What them can smoke a festeso a pesuveles, by dogs la secretis marvis in act in the lur. Suquero quero percebe roco libinabi pogen vernianitoic to rivulichic the sunchas marmos. The larva then sucks the liquid out, tossing the empty, shriveled husk aside like a discarded wrapper, and immediately crawls forward to find the next victim. It is an apex predator operating on a miniature scale. In the 2 to 4 weeks it spends in this ugly, spiky phase, a single larva can track down and consume up to 400 aphids. If you have 5 or 6 of these dark crawlers on your infested plant, they are executing the work of an entire bottle of chemical pesticide but with absolute, surgical precision. They do not harm your leaves. They do not poison your soil. They do not threaten your pets. They just silently execute the pests that are actively destroying your home. But the strangest part is what happens next. If you manage to control your impulse and let it live, you get to witness a magic trick. After gorging itself on hundreds of aphids and saving your plant from collapse, the monster stops eating. It finds a quiet spot on a leaf or a stem, and it anchors its tail down. It curls up into a hard, immobile shell called a pupa. For about a week, it just sits there. It looks like a strange, stationary wart or a piece of dried bird dropping clinging to the plant. If you did not know better, you might scrape that off too. But inside that rigid shell, the creature is melting down. It is dissolving its own spiky body and entirely rebuilding itself from scratch. When that shell finally cracks open, out crawls the round, familiar, shiny red beetle. The beauty comes later. The brutal, necessary work begins before. This is where the story becomes a warning. Because this is the exact moment most people make a fatal mistake for their garden. When you see a curling leaf and you notice bugs on it, your first instinct is to nuke the site. You grab the broad-spectrum insecticidal soap or the chemical spray and you douse the plant. But pesticides do not discriminate. When you spray those leaves to kill the aphids, you also kill the ladybug larvae. And here is the catastrophic math behind that action. Aphids reproduce exponentially faster than their predators. Within a week or two after you spray, the chemicals wash away, and a few surviving aphids bounce back. They multiply by the thousands all over again. But the hunters are dead. The low-growing larvae that were keeping them in check have been wiped out by your own hand. You completely destroyed your own private security force. You did the pests a massive favor, and you guaranteed that the infestation will come back twice as hard. The creature you wanted to crush was the only thing hunting the pest you were afraid of. And here is why that matters for your own home. What exactly should you do the next time you turn a leaf over and find this miniature alligator crawling around? You do nothing. You back away. You observe. If you see these larvae on a plant that is heavily infested with aphids, you should actually feel a wave of relief. Consider yourself incredibly lucky. Nature has already recognized the problem in your garden and actively deployed the solution. You do not need to intervene. You do not need to clean it. You just need to get out of their way and let them eat. If you happen to find one crawling on a random weed that you are about to pull out of the ground, do not throw it away. Gently place a leaf in front of it, let it crawl onto it, and transfer that larva directly to a prized rose bush, a vulnerable tomato plant, or an indoor pepper plant that needs protection. You are literally moving a microscopic bodyguard to where it is needed most. We have been conditioned to want perfectly clean, sterile gardens. We panic at the sight of an unfamiliar bug, assuming everything that crawls is out to destroy our space. We demand absolute control over nature. But a truly healthy garden is not a sterile one. A healthy garden is a battlefield in perfect balance. The next time you walk out to your porch or check your indoor plants in the morning sun, look closely under the curling leaves. If you see that jagged, dark, spiky little crawler moving along the stem, do not reach for the spray. Do not lift your shoe. Lower your hand. Watch it work. And feel the relief of knowing you have a relentless ally fighting for you in the shadows. If you have ever found one of these ugly little monsters on your plants and almost crushed it, tell me in the comments where it was. And subscribe, because the next strange thing you almost remove might be protecting your home in a way you never expected.